I am honored every single time. I will never forget, I went down that memory lane again in advance of you coming on, the 1999 AllStar Game, in which you met the moment when everybody in Boston, in Fenway Park, Red Sox fans were hoping to see what you could do against that National League lineup, and you striking out 4 of the first 6 that you faced was incredible. And I'm wondering what was going through your mind when you took that mound that night, Pedro.
Well, Rich, as you know, I always want to kind of leap to the moment, and at the same time, I was always aware of the responsibility that came with, being in Boston, representing Ted Williams, because that was the All-Star Game that was dedicated to him. I had the AllCentury Team. All of the players that I grew up idolizing were around the field. And I was extremely honored to be chosen to start that game because I don't think anybody would have taken it with as much responsibility as I did. I was fully aware that it was probably the most important All-Star game that was going to be played in my lifetime, because I don't think I'm going to live again to see the AllCentury Team around the field again. And I was really honored to actually live up to the moment, do what I was supposed to do, in what probably will be the most important All-Star game that we all saw. And yesterday, when I saw Julio Rodriguez competing for the home run derby, it brought back, some memories. And when they started chanting Julio, 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 it brought back some memories of, my moments in Boston, my moments in, while I was having success in Boston.
Yeah, I mean, him hitting 41 home runs in an at-bat in front of his home fans that wanted to see him do that was truly something else. And then, of course, him getting bested by Vladimir Guerrero Jr., whose dad was in the dugout of the National League that night in 1999, Pedro. It's kind of wild how things kind of come full circle in a way.
It is amazing. I'm the godfather for Vladimir Jr. I chose him to win it because not only he always dreamed about, becoming a home run derby champion, he did it in the first time. I thought he should have been the champion with as many homers as he did hit, but the format for the home run derby did not allow him to win. But it was always a dream for him to do that. I know him since he was a baby and since he was born. He always expressed that he wants to do everything his dad did, and if God allows him to do even more. So I'm extremely happy he got one of those achievements that his dad happened to have. And at the same time, how beautiful is it to see a father and a son, both of them win a home run derby, become stars, both of them. Now it's yet for him to get an MVP and get a championship. I wish him all the best, all of them. I think Julio put up a show yesterday. I think everybody represented so well. I was really impressed with the group of guys that were participating. Now, what we have to wait is to see who stands up in the game, in the actual game today.
Yeah, that goes down tonight. Pedro Martinez here on the Rich Eisen Show. And speaking of home run derbies, again going back to 1999, I was out there on the field along with Stuart Scott that night covering that home run derby for ESPN. And I remember at the time it was split up between National and American leagues in terms of teams going and competing against each other. If I'm not mistaken, in the middle of a McGwire at bat, when he, I think, hits 13 or 14 home runs in an at bat, right? And did you go up and try and steal the bat from him in the middle of like a timeout of his? Did you run up to him and take it, or try to, Pedro?
Yeah, I took his bat away. I said, "Hey, boy, you're intimidating us. So we need you to stop doing that now." He didn't. He didn't listen. He continued to hit bombs to the mat spike.
And I think he kept onto the bat even though it was broken. I think that bat was broken that you tried to take out of his hands, Pedro. Did you know that?
Well, I at the time I took it, it was pretty good, but it didn't matter. With McGwire, it didn't matter. McGwire could take a little stick and hit balls out. I mean, it was just impressive. And I remember he told me, "Hey, little man, give me my bat back." And I gave him the bat back, and then I was holding on to one of his arms, and I was hanging from his arm, from his right arm. I mean, I know I wasn't really heavy, but I was hanging from one arm. It was unbelievable.
That was a heck of a night. And then Ted Williams, obviously, being there at the center of the diamond with the AllCentury Team. Who did you interact with that night with the AllCentury Team, Pedro?
Rich, I had the honor and privilege to actually have Hank Aaron come over and shake my hand. I had the honor of, having Ted Williams call me into his suite and say some beautiful things that he said to me after the game, and honor me. And to me, my highlight of all night was to see Hank Aaron walking by and moving through the people to say, "I want to shake Pedro Martinez's hand." He's a true pitcher. He's a true big leaguer. And that's what I wanted. That's why I told you earlier that I was really responsible with the way I showed up to the game, because I was aware that the cream of baseball was watching me. I wanted to look like a true baseball player like they were. And I did not want my generation to fall short in front of the AllCentury Team. So I wanted to show the generation before that we also, some of us believe in the big leagues and we belong. And that's exactly what I had, exactly from Ted Williams and from Hank Aaron. And I remember, as soon as I stretched his hands, I remember how thick his hands were.
Yeah.
And that never escaped my mind. And I was honored enough to actually have the opportunity to exchange with him in the Hall of Fame after I got inducted. And our relationship never broke. And I'm going to express this. Mm-hmm. I'm missing him big time in Cooperstown, and I'm missing Joe Morgan. Walking encyclopedias for me. And I always enjoyed my time in Cooperstown, basically just talking and going through history with them about so many things, not just baseball, but about so many things that they had to, go through in their careers. So I'm missing them big, big time.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.